Good afternoon. You're now watching KJ Live. I'm Chris Johnson. Our next guest started his career at the Cal Berkeley as a player, graduated and then moved on to playing overseas in countries like China, Japan, and here in the D League back home. He transitioned into coaching on the professional level, started his career in the G League, and now coaches in the NBA. Chris Johnson Live is proud to welcome Ryan Forehan-Kelly to the show. Get Kelly up in here. Okay, so I'll request Kelly. This is KJ Live, tremendous interview. Oh, check him out. Oh, look at him. Okay.
What's up, brother? That was an official introduction, brother. You know what I'm saying? I surely.
Well, I had to try to. I had to try to be official with you, my man.
Hey.
I had to be official this time around, brother.
Official as a referee.
How you living?
I'm good, bro. How are you?
I'm great, man. Just got off with CB, Corey Benjamin.
Yeah.
Had a nice little talk with that brother, man. But hey, man, I'm excited. I'm excited that you took the time to join. I know you guys are super busy, my brother. So I want to kind of just get into the interview and ask you some questions. But I want to start at the beginning. Okay, where were you born?
Long Beach, California, brother.
LBC. So did you grow up in Long Beach or did you move?
So I grew up all over Cali. So I was born in Long Beach. My brother, 3 years younger, he was born in the Bay Area. So we moved to the Bay when I was like two, 3. And then came back to Orange County. My mom was at UCI getting her undergrad. So that we were there for a couple years, like when I was in, I don't know, first, second, third, fourth grade, and then moved back to the Bay. And then stayed in the Bay until my senior year of high school, and then moved back to Orange County for my senior year, and then went back to Berkeley. So I just claim all of California, brother. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No doubt. What's your mom's name?
Lisa Forehan.
Lisa. And what's her ethnic background?
She's white.
Okay. And your dad's name?
My dad is Michael.
Michael. And his ethnic background?
And he's black.
He's black. How many siblings do you have?
I got one brother, Tyshawn Forehan-Kelly.
Okay.
Is he dog in this little life?
Did he play basketball?
He did. He played at Cal 2 years and then transferred over to Pepperdine, finished at Pepperdine, and then ended up getting into finance. So
nice.
Worked at Morgan Stanley, Merrill Lynch, and now he just kind of handles his own books on his own. So investment guy. He always been a numbers guy, bro.
Yeah.
Little kids, he asking for, we 4 or 5 years old, he asking for like a piggy bank where he can keep his coins and it will keep his quarters and his dimes and his nickels, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And he could see how much money he had of each, and he was always like, me, I get $2, I'm going to buy me a couple of Reese's and some chocolate milk or something. He always saving $1, you know what I'm saying? And then spending the other $1 on some other stuff. So always been a number guy, my road dog in this little lifetime here, man. So that's my guy. That's my guy, Tyshawn.
Talk about just growing up all over, how that shaped your personality and the man you are today.
It was dope, man. It was I'm very thankful for it now. My mom was young. She was in school, getting her master's and eventually her PhD, so we moved all over. So she went to Santa Cruz, then she went to UCI, Santa Cruz, and then back to UCI. For me, at the time it was tough, man. It was time to leave all the homies, When I was super young, it didn't really have no effect. But when I moved, like, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th grade, and I had this body of homies that I was cool with, it was hard to leave them, and go somewhere else. In fact, so hard that I actually stayed with my grandparents one year to finish my first year of basketball down in Southern California. So, at the time it was tough, but then looking back, it's the best thing I've ever done, because now I have 2 reasons. One is I just have, friends from all other pockets, and not just friends, but, brothers and sisters, family from all over. The other part of it was, too, just getting a different perspective on this way of life. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? You know, people live very different in the Bay than they live in Southern California, than they live in New York, Miami, you know, wherever you're at. And so
Yeah.
just to get those different perspectives at such a young age was absolute blessing, and something to be honest, I've been paying forward to my children. So my first son went to first grade in Japan, you know, and you know, lived in Orange County. Now they're in New York with me. You know what I'm saying? And so now, you know, same thing. You know, I think it's probably a little difficult now, you know, being away from your friends and having to just communicate like this, you know what I'm saying?
Sure.
Internet or whatever. But I think in the long run, they'll appreciate it, you know, just seeing
Absolutely.
very different perspectives on life.
Absolutely. What high school did you graduate from?
So I went to Cardinal Newman High School, and then I graduated my senior year from Santa Margarita High School.
Santa Margarita, Rancho Santa Margarita, out here in the OC. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Who are your teammates? You have any guys that play Division I basketball?
Ooh, so my teammates, great team. No like superstar guys except for Carson Palmer. So Carson Palmer was our sixth man. Obviously didn't go on to play no basketball, but he played the shit out of that football shit.
What's his game like?
Monster. You know what I'm saying? He's the type of dude you could play anything. We could be playing hockey, we could be playing chess, we could be playing whatever, and he gonna compete. He gonna do nothing but compete. He gonna play as hard as he can. He gonna play for his teammates. He gonna fight for his teammates. Literally. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And so Carson was a monster. He was basically our sixth man, you know, who came in off the bench and was the glue to the team. Whatever we needed, he would get done. You know, just his mentality, like just to see him be who he was in football.
Yeah, the man.
A grown man, bro.
Okay.
Grown man.
Okay, please.
I was 6'4", like 165. This dude was 6'5", like 225. You know what I'm saying? I got the 25s on the plate trying to bench the 25s. He warming up the 245s on each side. Like I don't even think I can bench what he was benching in high school now.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? So Carson was a great player. I mean, I had great teammates, dude. I had great teammates that really we all sacrificed for one another. It was no way that we had less talent, so it was no way we was gonna come beat you by, you know, just being better than you. So we had to play the game. We were forced to play the game, and we did that. And so my senior year, we won the state title. We beat some, you know, big time teams along the way, Division II. So it was a crazy experience.
Nice. This is KJ Live. I'm Chris Johnson, on with Brooklyn Nets assistant coach Ryan Forehan-Kelly. We are reminiscing about his days at Rancho Santa Margarita High. His sixth man on his high school team was none other than quarterback Carson Palmer, one of the best to do it to ever come out of Southern California. Ryan, let me ask you this. Did you have a favorite teacher at Santa Margarita? And if you did, what subject did they teach?
Oh, that's a good question. That is a good question. My favorite teacher was actually in the Bay Area, Cardinal Newman High School. And her name, Miss Carlson, and she was my math teacher, you know, and she reminded me of my mom a lot, you know what I'm saying? Because the way my mom came through, you know, she put a great value on education too. So it wasn't like, you know, just go play sports and come home and get your work done and keep it moving. It was like, no, you're going to compete. You're going to compete in school, and you do that right, then you can come out here and you can compete in sports. And Ms. Carlson held me to that same standard, you know what I'm saying? Just in terms of, look, you can do better than this. You know, you just getting by and you just passing your math class. You can do better than this, you know?
Yeah.
And it was a reminder. It was a reminder of, you know, what I was getting at home from moms. And so I'd say she was my best teacher. She gave me, you know, life lessons like that, more than just math or anything like that. In fact, even stuff that I use today to teach to my players. So
yeah, sounds like you were really well prepared for your career after high school. Talk about why you chose Cal Berkeley, who was your coach that recruited you, and the college experience up north.
Yeah, dope, man. Berkeley was dope, man. It was a tough choice. I mean, coming through, I had a lot of smaller schools, a lot of West Coast schools. You know, the Pacifics, USD, Santa Barbara, You know, division, good basketball schools. Also was interested in the Ivy League. So I was looking at some Ivy League schools, looked at
Which ones?
Columbia, Harvard, Princeton, Dartmouth. In fact, took a trip with my point guard up in Cardinal Newman, Jahan Boslett, very cerebral dude. And I took a trip my sophomore year of high school with him. He was a senior at the time. And we looked at a bunch of the Ivy League schools, you know, and we went to Dartmouth, Princeton, you know, Harvard, Columbia. We went to all of them, man, and visited them. And so, I mean, long story short, what really happened was Berkeley came on late. You know, Berkeley came on late, and wasn't so much recruiting from Berkeley. It was like, you know, a letter here, a letter there, whatever. You know, at this point, you know, you're actually having like phone calls. You're able to, you know, have phone calls. Coaches might come see you play, you know, et cetera, et cetera. So it wasn't super duper recruiting. And so the situation was crazy at the time. We were sanctioned. So we only had
off of Todd Bozeman stuff?
Yeah. Okay. Unfortunately, you know what I'm saying? So at the time it was we were short scholarships. So it was like 9 or 10 scholarships. So it was a unique opportunity to go to Berkeley. But I would have to walk on. I'd have to be a walk-on. Right. And maybe as these scholarships come back, then maybe, you know, maybe I'd have a chance to get a scholarship, but there was no guarantee. So I was kind of weighing at the time, you know, scholarships at these other schools versus going to Berkeley. And for me, it was a no-brainer. And it was a blessing for going on those trips, going to the Ivy Leagues and going to, you know, some of these other colleges, because you know, I wanted a balance. I wanted to compete in education at the highest level. Right. But I also wanted to compete in basketball at the highest level.
Makes sense.
Know what I'm saying? And you know, I ain't gotta tell you what the Pac-10 was like back then. You know, it was 7 teams. It was 7 teams in the tournament every year. It was 3-4 teams in the top 10 every year. Et cetera, et cetera. And so you know, just growing up in the Bay, Jay Kidd being one of my favorite players. You know what I'm saying? You know, it all just kind of came together at the end, and Cal was the way to go, and I'm glad I did.
Let's talk about the walk-on experience. My son William, who you had a chance to coach and be around a lot when we coached together with the Pumps, he's at the University of Oregon. You see him behind me right there.
That's right.
Chopper.
Shout out Will. What up, guys?
Shout out Will. He walked on at Oregon. And he did everything right, you know, earned money for 2 years, you know, experienced everything, but he didn't get a lot of playing time. Talk about how hard you had to work to get on the floor at Cal.
Yeah, man. So it was it was tough, bro. It's tough to go from being I don't know if I was my star player at my high school, but I was one of the stars. I was one of the go-to guys. I was one of the guys that, you know, you'd see on the scouting report and this, that, and the other. You know, one of the starters, team captain, all that stuff. You know, it's hard to go from that to being a walk-on. Who, you know, my freshman year, we didn't have no gym. My freshman and sophomore year, we played at the Warriors at the Oracle. And so we would practice at the Warriors facility on top of the Marriott and basically have to bus down there from Berkeley and then bus back. So the thing is, you know, busing back, we would stop by our training table. Right. But if you were a non-scholarship player, then you couldn't eat training table. So basically I go through practice. We leave school at like 1, go to practice, get it in, all that stuff, come out the gym 4 or 5 after everybody takes showers, you know, 6:30, go training table. I literally would sit on the bus, right, while the rest of the team went to eat, you know. And I use this example because it used to just marinate in me. You know what I'm saying? Like, damn, I can't even eat with the fellas, right? I can do everything else with the fellas, right? I live with the fellas. I work with the fellas, right? I
everything.
Everything. But I can't even eat with the fellas. You know what I'm saying? And at that point, I had like two paths I could go down. I could feel sorry for myself and say, hey, man, you know, I'm a fucking state champion this and this, that, and the other. Like, how the fuck you doing me like this and you letting these other dudes eat? You know what I'm saying? And or I could be like, you know, just let shit manifest, marinate in it, and just be like, okay, well, check this out. I'm gonna work this much harder each and every day so that when I do get my chance, then I'm a prove it. You know what I'm saying? And so it was tough. it was tough, but I gotta give respect to my teammates, right? Because they didn't treat me no different. They treat me as one of their own.
Yeah.
And I got to give respect to our assistant coach, Coach Rayno. Coach Rayno, Louis. You know what I'm saying? Long
Legend,
time
the
South
legend,
guy,
dog.
legend, Bay Area legend. Man.
Please.
But I got to give credit to Louis because Louis gave me something that I use with my players to this day. You know what I'm saying? And he always told me, it's not how you start, it's how you finish. Right? And he's like, you can start as a walk-on, but that don't have nothing to do with how you're going to finish. You know what I'm saying? You control how you're going to finish. You know what I'm saying? And I took that with me each and every day. And it's something that I use now with my play, and how I keep my guys hungry, how I keep them pushing to be the best that they can be in their career, because that's all you can do. You got this short window to play basketball. You know what I'm saying? All you can do is be the best that you can be and help your team be the best that it can be. You know what I'm saying? And there's no days off in that. The more days off you take, the more the other guys are getting ahead.
Absolutely.
It was a hell of a challenge, man. It was crazy. The craziest thing for me was, the first game I played in, I played 0 minutes and had 2 points. So, it was a little scrap. Back then, Pac-10 was a little bit rough. Rough. You know what I'm saying? And you might be my dog, after the game, but during the game,
Oh, it was real.
It's real. You know what I'm saying? And so my first time I played, we was playing Arizona State. And it was a little scrap, a little squabble, a couple little punches thrown, whatever, broken up. 2 guys ejected. Technical foul. I think we were up by maybe like 2. Technical foul, like 30 seconds left in the game, something like that. Close game. We might have been up 1. I don't know. It was a 1-point game either way, something like that. And, they look down to the end of the bench and they're like, yo, who we putting in for the free throws? Right? Somehow we got 2 free throws. I don't know how it worked. Somehow we got 2 free throws. And we need, you know what I'm saying? And they subbed me in, bro. They subbed me in. I had 2 free throws, knocked both of them down, and it got subbed out. So I played 0 minutes, but my team needed the 2 free throws. So it's
please.
That's all you need from me. I got you.
And you coming in cold. You coming in cold off the bench, bro. No reps, no nothing. At the end of the game, we need 2. What do? You step up and it's cash.
No, that's like a Rico Hines workout. It's like a Rico Hines workout. 1 shot to validate. You know what I'm saying? My team needs this right now. Okay? Yep. 1 shot to validate and win. Right? And it was the same thing. So knocked them 2 down. The next game we played at Oregon State, actually, in Corvallis, and we were getting smacked. So at halftime we were getting smacked. And coach basically put the bottom of the bench in, you know what I'm saying? And so I started the second half. And, that was like my Super Bowl, bro. This is my opportunity, you know what I'm saying? And we ended up coming back. I think we were down 20. We ended up coming back, going up by like 5.
What?
You know what I'm saying? I think I had like 20 in the second half, like 6 threes. At that time was like.
I think I remember that game. That's when you jumped on the radar, bro.
That was it.
I remember that. Now that you're talking about this, I was like, because you had the name Forehan-Kelly. It was like, who is Forehan-Kelly?
That boy with that hype.
That hype.
And now that's what it was. So that's what that was my first opportunity to play. But when you talk about the walk-on thing, man, it was a challenge. You had to look at the bigger picture. You had to consider, you really had to be goal driven. What do you want to get out of this? And then at the end of the day, you had to be ready. Like I said, I played 0 minutes my first game. Second game, I played like 18 minutes or 16 minutes or something like that. I was ready for whatever you give me, 0 minutes or 40 minutes in a college game. You tell me what you need, and which is it's tough. It's tough to stay in that mode. And there was days where I was in that mode, but that's why I give props to my teammates who picked me up and my, the Sean Lampleys, the Jizz Gates, the Solomon Hugheses, the Dante Smiths.
And by the way, Solomon Hughes was just cast as Kareem Abdul-Jabbar in the new HBO special that they're doing on the Lakers Showtime. Shout out Solomon.
Shout out Solomon. I was just talking to him the other day, man. They're getting ready to get started on that, man. Blessing to him, man.
That's awesome, man. I'm so happy for him. I knew his sister very well before she passed away many years ago. She went to UCLA. Rest in peace, Keisha Hughes. But Ryan, moving forward. So you graduated Cal. What did you get your degree in?
I got my degree in social welfare. and then a
So
minor in
social.
business.
Okay, so social welfare with a minor in business, but then you embarked on a professional career overseas. Talk about, well, one thing that stood out. I noticed you played with the Aishan Seahorses in 2009. Was that with J.R. Henderson?
What? D.J.R. Sakuragi?
Talk about J.R. Sakuragi and
D.J.R.
that
Sakuragi.
experience playing with the Aishan.
So let me go start. I'll just go real quick,
Okay.
start to finish, man. So coming
Yeah.
out, I didn't have much interest, playing as a pro. Some of my other coaches probably would have told me, go use your Berkeley degree, use your business degree. My theory was always that I could come back to using my degree, but I won't be able to play basketball forever. So I literally went to like a free agent camp. And back then it was the Long Beach Summer Pro League.
Right.
And I went to like a free agent camp, got on like a little free agent team, played with the free agent team in the summer. Ended up going to training camp with the Phoenix Suns. But then I had to have surgery. I had the hernia, bro. And ended up having surgery and I was out. So I literally went back and worked like a desk job. Blessings, from one of my friends' families, like at a marketing firm, I physically couldn't do shit. So I thought that mentally I would work on, my craft a little bit and got into marketing for like 4 or 5 months. And then ended up going to play in China. So played in China.
Where in China?
So I was in Jiangsu. I played 2 years in Jiangsu and 2 years in Shanghai for Yao Ming's team.
Wow.
So I played 4 in China, 2 in France, 2 in Italy, 1 in Croatia, 2 in the D League when my son was born. My first son was born. Jalen, shout out Jay, Jax,
shout out Jay.
And then 2 years in Japan. Japan is where I played with JR. So unbelievable experience to be in Japan, man. Japan is such a I probably can't even do it justice, but it's just such a great culture. They just collaborate on everything together so well. They work together. So I ended up playing there with JR, which was a crazy experience because JR was, played in the NBA a couple years, but he was good enough to play in the NBA at the time when I was playing with him. And at this point, he was probably, I was 30, 31. He was probably 57. You know what I'm saying? My bad, Jay. No, he was like, he like mid-30s.
Yes, of course.
Still playing in the NBA, but he chose to do what he wanted to do lifestyle-wise.
Right.
And much respect for that. What I'm saying? Because, the experiences and the things that he experienced in that time would have been priceless, would have been things that you never would have seen in the NBA, and he ended up spending his whole career.
20 years.
Yeah. Crazy, man. And just to see the love and respect for him that the culture gave him, that the whole country gave him, I'm saying? The love and respect that the game gave him, what I'm saying? Allowed him to play till 40, whatever it was.
Yeah, it's credit.
44, 45, like, to be a monster, what I'm saying? Was just based on who he is and what his character's about. And quite frankly, it was kind of, I was around my 30s, just had my first child and whatnot. And, learning on, it's kind of like that transition of high school to college again. When you at your 30s, right, is you go, you a grown man. Like, you got to start paying taxes and, what I'm saying, got car notes and got to learn how to change diapers and this, that, and the other.
The whole nine.
Basketball on the back burner compared to this other stuff, so it was a blessing for me to be with JR during that time, and my family was with me. Just to experience the Japanese culture was priceless. And one story I got to share was, because this says a lot about their culture, was that was the year of the tsunami, right? So they had this big ass earthquake. So I was in Tokyo, game day, just like this, game day, middle of the day. So usually it's like a nap, right? Like I'm finna lay down, get my mind right, take a little nap, shoot around in the morning, come back tonight, get ready to play. So we're in Shibuya Station, which is the biggest intersection, or then was like the most busiest intersection in the world.
Right.
Literally outside my window. So we're like on the corner. I look out the window and you see just traffic from all over the world coming through there. So I'm laying down taking a nap, and the bed starts shaking. Like, you know, it's a little earthquake or whatever. So, you know, we from Cali, so that ain't nothing. Roll over, go back to sleep. But
right.
that shit kept shaking and kept shaking. So like a minute 30, I'm like, yo, what we doing? So JR's in the room next door to me. So I jump up, I open the door, like, Jay, what we finna do? Like you said, he been here 10 years. What we doing, dog? When I open the door, I see like 3 cleaning ladies running for their life, screaming, running for their life. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm like, oh shit. So I shut my door, run out behind them. I'm kind of jogging behind them. You know, we run to the stairwell. I'm on the 16th floor. We run to the stairwell. We start going down the stairs. I'm kind of running with the ladies because, you know, maybe I can help them, you know. And all of a sudden that shit started getting real, right? I had my hand on the rail, and that shit went from like my waist to up above my head and then back down to like my feet. And I was like, oh yeah, this is real. So now I'm gone. I'm running down the stairs, man. Shout out to the ladies. I hope they good, because I had to dust them. I had to get out.
You had to break.
My bad. I had to get out of there. So I ran out 16 floors, got all the way to the bottom, right? And you know, got outside, and I'm standing in the Shibuya station now. All you see is these big buildings, and you just see them overhead just shaking, bro. You know what I'm saying? Crazy experience, right?
Wow.
And you know, long story short, what happened was my city was like 2 hours south of Tokyo. This had all happened north, you know, a couple hours north of Tokyo. And we ended up going back to our city of Nagoya, and you know, did this thing with the Red Cross, where we went to the train. You know, there everybody rides trains, right? So we went to the local train station in Nagoya and collected money as a team to send in the north
to help. And that's great.
When I tell you the experience, though, bro, like literally, bro, they standing in line to give up money to give to the people in the north, because they know that the people in the north would do the same for them. Like, I'm getting chills now, man. I hope I don't shed a tear on this thing, but it was the greatest thing to see, bro. Like literally, when I tell you this, Chris, it was 99 out of 100 people stopping to donate money to the north. Kids coming with their whole piggy bank, pouring it in.
That's amazing.
Right? Business people bringing their kids late to work, right, to give money to the people in the north. You know what I'm saying? And it just showed how strong they are as a culture, right? And how disciplined they are, and the empathy that they have for one another. You know what I'm saying? And it was a great lesson for me to learn. And what's funny is it's something that really comes back to this day. It's something that we can all learn, that I feel like this world can really learn. Really learn from. I wish we all would have been there, watching these people donate, watching these people stand in the line that goes around the building, out the door.
Yes.
Donate money to some people that they have never met. Kids.
We got to get back to caring about each other human beings. The human race is one race, and we have to respect and acknowledge each other the right way. Honestly, I mean, it's key. That's being lost. I hope we don't lose those recipes on that. But Ryan, I want to talk about what made you decide to go into coaching.
Good question. Great question. So that was a huge year. That was a huge year, actually. Like I said, I was 31, 32, had tore my Achilles in Shanghai. Just bounced back after that. You know, getting a little older, you start to see the end of your career coming. You know, when you were young, it was like, man, shit, I'm going to be playing this till I'm 100. You know what I'm saying? There was no end of your career. You know what I'm saying? And you know, as you get a little older, once you get around that 30 point, you know what I'm saying? Or, you know, everybody's different, but, you know, you get into them 30s a little bit, a couple years into them 30s, and you start seeing, well, shoot, you know, now I'm spending 2 hours in you know, getting my body right with performance, and I'm an hour on court. You know what I'm saying? It's 2 to 1 the other way. You know, when before it was just like, let me stretch my hamstrings and let's get this bump in. You know what I'm saying? Exactly. And so, you know, what happened for me was, you know, my way of competing in this basketball game all the way through from day one was just being the best I could be, like really learning the game, knowing how to play the game. And so it was the work outside of practice that got me into coaching, because I would work before, I would work after. right? And what I started doing later in my career was kind of, you know, grab one of our young guys under our wing, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, hey, let's work on this pick and roll stuff, right? Let's work on these reads after this pick and roll. Let's work on these, you know, finishes off the drive. Let's work on our defense, you know, how we shift from the weak side, or how we, you know, how we trap and how we rotate, or, you know, et cetera, et cetera. It was stuff that we worked on. And when I knew I wanted to coach was when I would see those dudes use exactly the move that we used, and that shit would work, and it felt as if I was doing it. You know what I'm saying? It felt like
Absolutely. No greater joy. No greater joy.
This little Euro step with I had a little bitty little guard, and my floater was janky, you know what I'm saying? So I was like, hey man, let's work on this little Euro to a little floater. You know what I'm saying? And so we worked at first, you know, our floaters are like swish, off the side of the backboard, over the backboard, swish, you know, super inconsistent, you know what I'm saying, for both of us. And we just kept working on it, kept working on it. And then there was one game where he must have hit about 6 of them bitches. Bing, bing, float.
Damn.
Bing, bing, float. You know what I'm saying? And we played against a shot blocker, right? We're playing against a shot blocker, and he, you know, he's the best shot blocker in the league. He couldn't do nothing with him. And that's kind of when I got this coaching itch, was when
Yeah. So you figured out you had a love and a passion for it. Talk about how you got involved with the Brooklyn Nets organization. First stop, Long Island, right?
Yeah. So Brooklyn, I came to Brooklyn first. So this is my 5th year. So I went Brooklyn first. There was a video player development role, which I took. I started in my 2nd and 3rd year. I was with Long Island. So nice. I was assistant coach with Long Island.
Really quick, let's just talk about how the development of a coach, right? So you start as a video coordinator, but then they send you to the D League to get more live action practice reps. Talk about that developmental process, though, for our audience. They may not understand it.
That's it. So, you know, the role I originally came in, video player development, was, you know, that's a temporary joint. You know, it's 1-2 years max, right? Just kind of get you in the door and see if you like it, see if that's what you want to do. Then it's about, you know, we talk a lot about your coach's voice, you know, getting your coach's voice, right? It's one thing I learned with you, actually, you and Brother McCoy, right? Coaching that pump up stuff, right? Like playing in the game and talking to a teammate is very different than, you know, coaching the game, being in the suit, or now we're in sweats. But, you know what I'm saying, you know, educating them, teaching them is a very different conversation, you know. And so you got to kind of get your coach's voice, you know. Or I'm in the video room studying, you know, studying my X's and O's, studying what this team does. You know, what do the Milwaukee Bucks do versus the Miami Heat, or, you know, the Lakers, Clippers, you know, Portland Trailblazers. How do they guard the pick and roll? You know, how do they play offensively? This, that, and the other. So, you know, that was a true blessing. But that don't mean nothing unless you
Kelly,
apply it. Yeah, that don't mean nothing unless you apply it. So that's what I was going to say. You know, my 2nd and 3rd year coaching in Long Island was actually applying it. Now you got your own thing on your own plate, right? You got your own table. So now it's all in your hands. So now, like, everything you learn, it's like being an entrepreneur. You got to figure it out. Can't nobody tell you. There ain't no manual, right? You got to figure out. You got to use the experience, and then you got to figure out. And then what you realize is that that's how everybody's in the same boat, right? You realize everybody's like that. There is no one way to do it, you know? I mean, Phil Jackson ran the triangle offense, you know what I'm saying? Like, original, you know what I'm saying? I mean, you know.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah, you know, like, stuff like one off, right? And he won with it, you know what I'm saying? I'm sure people was hating on the triangle, too, until he won a bunch of championships with that joint, you know. You know, that was it. That was about getting my coach's voice, you know, learning how to talk to people, learning how to teach, quite frankly, was what I underestimated, was learning how to teach, what it takes to teach, and A tough part is getting away from just assuming that everybody knows the game.
What you're talking about. Or
Yeah,
everybody knows what you're
everybody knows
talking
the
about.
game. Like, everybody had a different experience in this game and come from different backgrounds. And, you can't take it for granted that, everybody was learned to throw a chest pass with the thumbs down. You know what I'm saying? Some people didn't. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And so it was about just kind of organizing my thoughts, my experience, my perspective, so that when I teach it, there was no fluff. There was no, just jibber jabbering,
Right. You getting right to the point. No, I like it, man. I mean,
there you go.
And that way of coaching, just when you treat someone like they don't know nothing about the game, your messaging, now you have to be more patient. You probably slow it down a little bit. You're probably not as, yelling or, you're not raising your voice. You're actually teaching them from the lens of, hey, man, I'm just trying to, give you a basis and a foundation for your game. So, no, I totally, and that's something I didn't realize when we coached together. So I was all Mr. Yeller and tripping out. But looking back on it, I really wish that I would have had the tools. And a lot of it is maturity also, Ryan. And a lot of it is also just, growing up and just reps, right? So, but thank you for sharing that. But I want to know when the moment you got the call to join the Brooklyn Nets staff, what was that moment like, and when did that happen?
So it was a blessing, man. So I'm gonna rewind a little bit, because what originally happened was I had an interview. So my first year after retirement, I just basically spent the time with the family, catch up with my friends, family, etc. Hung out in Cali and just soaked up some well-needed time off. I would help with local guys and high school kids, whoever, when Clay came into town, we rocked with Clay, whatever it was, whoever, go up to Rico's workouts, you know what I'm saying? Watch workouts and just, just hang. Stuff like that my first year. So what happened was I went to the summer league. I was in the summer league in Las Vegas and ended up getting an offer to come to the Spurs for a similar role. Yeah. And it was video player development. And it ended up falling through. But I went out there, I had my interview, I met with, some of the greatest basketball minds of ever.
Pop,
what I'm saying?
Pop,
all these guys.
Talk about Pop for a second, man, for our audience that just don't have any idea what he's like on a personal level.
Pop just dope. Pop just real. You know what I'm saying? Pop just real. You ain't gonna get no bullshit. Ain't gonna be no smoking mirrors. You might like what he say. You might not like what he say. You know what I'm saying? But that's the love he has for you. You know what I'm saying? Like, he gonna tell you straight up because he wants you to be the best that he can be. You know what I'm saying? And so Pop is who he is. You know what I'm saying? He's gonna be who he is. So that experience alone was great. To go down there and talk to those guys, and R.C. Buford and our general manager Sean Marks here was assistant general manager there. And so long story short, I didn't get the job, but I was very thankful for the opportunity just to go in there.
Sure.
And then fast forward like a year later, Sean got the job in Brooklyn. You know what I'm saying? And he was, we were talking, and he was like, would you be interested in coming for that same role? You know what I'm saying? And had to think about it just because it was further away from my family. We had just kind of settled in after, playing around the world and whatnot. And so, ended up taking it. And,
sure.
It was a challenge. It was a great challenge. Just to go from playing to coaching. As a player, like whatever you couldn't figure out X's and O's wise, you can make up for with your competitive nature, with competing, fouling, whatever it is, little tricks. You can do something physical. Yeah. On the coaching end, there's none of that physical part. So it's all. Like, I got to teach you, and then you got to go rock and do it. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Yeah, so it's just a whole new set of challenges.
Okay. This is KJ Live. I'm Chris Johnson. I'm on with Brooklyn Nets assistant coach Ryan Forehan-Kelly. We're talking about his coaching journey, the moment he found out that he was going to join the Nets staff. So I guess one of the things I want to find out about just you with the Nets, like when I looked at the Nets roster, the executive roster, I see names like Jacques Vaughn, Charles Payne, who I'm familiar with, Gary St. Jean, Obviously, Steve Nash, Mike D'Antoni, Tiago Splitter, J.R. Holden, Director of Player Personnel. It's a lot of basketball going on in that organization. Sean Marks, I obviously played against him at Cal when I was at UCLA. Talk about what it's like to work for an organization with so many basketball folks, just up and down all throughout the organization with playing experience. You know what I'm saying? It's a Hooper's heaven, it seems like, over there in Brooklyn, bro.
Man, it's unbelievable, man. I mean, you know, I don't know if humble would do it justice, but it's quite humbling, you know what I'm saying, to be around all these great basketball minds, man. Like you said, from front office to coaching staff, it's you know, high minds, but that's the way the front office built the culture. You know what I'm saying? That's the way the culture's been, you know. And you know, coming into this thing, I came in 5 years ago. It was it was all of us, really, you know. Sean Marks as the general manager, Kenny Atkinson as the head coach, and then we had Jock Vaughn, Jordan Ott, Adam Harrington, and that still remain on the staff, right? And so, anyways, it was you know, coming in, our hands were tied, bro. We had no draft picks, we had no money. You know, that big trade for the big three had just gone through in Brooklyn, so we gave up a lot to get those three, but that was before our time. So we were kind of, you know, we kind of reaped everything that came from that big trade. So we had no money. Our stars were Jeremy Lin and Brook Lopez, who are great players, you know, but they're not at the level where, you know,
you can compete for a championship.
Where these other guys are, and you know, they're great players, so I don't want to take nothing away from them. Our supporting cast,
not at all, not at all.
Was tough, but it was our hands were tied, bro. No money, no draft picks, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So the one thing we did, our only play was to take guys and develop and help them be the best they could be. Play one of our young bucks tonight, Karis LeVert, right? He was a rookie. He was super green, super talented, a little bit wild back then, you know what I'm saying? And he worked and he worked and he worked and he worked now to where, you know, one of these days he's going to be an all-star. You know what I'm saying? And he's a monster. You know? So, you know, it was an interesting process from then till now, you know. I mean, front office had to pull off some tricks, you know what I'm saying? Make some trades, get some people in here, coaching wise, we just continue to develop. You know, I think we run around like 20 games our first year. You going like, never in my life, bro, have I lost that many games in any sport. You know what I'm saying? Where you going 5 weeks without a win. You know what I'm saying? We done played 14, 15 games, you know what I'm saying? And we ain't got to win. You know what I'm saying? We ain't getting a win in January. You know, we had to wait till February to get a win. You know what I'm saying? So that was tough. Like, I had never played on any teams like that. So, but that was part of the journey, man. That was part of the journey. You know what I'm saying? I think what it taught me was what I learned in college. You know, it's not how you start, it's how you finish. So our goal wasn't to be a 25-win team anyways. You know what I'm saying? Our goal was to take this thing and you know, turn it into the best that it can be. You know? And that applied then with the roster we had then, and that applies with the roster that we have now. You know what I'm saying? It is no different. You know, we just want to be the best we can be individually and collaboratively. You know, and as a group. So, you know, it was a dope experience to go from then till now. To answer your question, man, it's amazing, dude. Every day coming to the gym and having a conversation with this group that we have now is tremendous. You know what I'm saying? I mean, obviously, front office is unbelievable. The things that they pull off is unbelievable. You know, Jeff Peterson, Andy Birdsong, and Sean are unbelievable. You know what I'm saying? Our analytics department, unbelievable, right? Our scouts, unbelievable. And it's why how we got from then till where we are now. You know what I'm saying? Is great draft picks, you know, which we had to trade for, you know. We had to build leverage and then, you know, trade for them. And we got Karis LeVert, Jared Allen, you know what I'm saying? These guys. And so, you know, to answer your question, it's unbelievable to come in every day and to collaborate with these guys, man. I mean, our head coach is Steve Nash, 2-time, you know, MVP. Monster on the court, monster basketball mind on the court. You know what I'm saying? You know, D'Antoni, the things he's done, Ime, JV, you know, the things they've done as players and as coaches.
Absolutely. Super staff, a super
Yeah,
staff.
exactly. And then, you know, you got myself, you got Tiago Splitter, you got Adam Harrington, Royale Ivy, you know, Jordan Ox,
Yep.
you know what I'm saying? The brain behind these
Ball.
things. So, yeah, it's like Voltron, bro. It's like Voltron.
I know. I know.
Like the Wu-Tang Clan, you know what I'm saying? We got, it's a whole bunch of us, but we all got a purpose. We all got a reason to be here.
I know, and that's why I was so impressed when I was looking through the roster. But let's talk about how elite level, the best in the world are wired. How those type of athletes are wired. What's the difference between, you know, the wiring of a KD, of a Kyrie, of a Harden versus everybody else?
Yeah, great question, man. I mean, it's an obvious difference, bro. It's an obvious difference. There are no excuses. There are no reasons why I can't be at the workout or why I didn't get my work in today, et cetera, et cetera. There's a keen focus on, you know, this worked, this didn't work. You know, there's this, you know, the focus part of that is, you know, understanding what didn't work and not feeling sorry for yourself or being upset because it didn't work, but, you know, remembering that, putting that in the back of your mind, and the next time this situation comes up, I'm not doing this, I'm doing something else. You know what I'm saying? And so these are the type of dudes that are just so very determined, you know, very confident, you know, and they're driving their brands. You know what I'm saying? This is my brand. What do I want my brand to look like? You know what I'm saying? And they realize you're going to get out exactly what you put in. You know what I'm saying? And so I think the body of work over time is what allows them to be who they are today. You know what I'm saying? You know, Kev, Kai, and James, you know what I'm saying, are some of the best players to ever play this game.
Absolutely.
Right? And they still work harder than anybody else out there.
How tough? But how tough? So you got three of the greatest that ever played the game on one team. How tough is that as a coach to sort of, you know, balance? You know, what's your approach when you got to coach them up? You know, do you stay true to yourself? Do you change up depending on the moment? Expound on that for me.
Yeah, you just got to know. Just pick and choose where you wanna where you teach. You know, it's very different than, like I said, my first year we got all rookies and young guys. So this is like a college high school practice, basically. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, now it's different. Now it's like, how do I just make you 1% better? You know what I'm saying? Kevin Durant, you know, Kyrie Irving, you know, James Harden. How do I make you 1% better? You know, how do I complement what you're doing? Because the thing is they know how to play. You know what I'm saying? They've been playing in the league longer than I've been coaching. You know what I'm saying? But then maybe there's, you know, what are things that I can do as a coach behind the scene that can just help Kevin in the game, can help Kai in the game, can help James in the game. You know, help whether it's, you know, making reads or whether it's playing defense. You know what I'm saying? You know, how can I help them prepare? How can I help them prepare for each and every game? And you know, and then just, you know, keep pushing them to be the best that they can be. And not only that, like, help this team be the best that it can be. You know, I've always been a believer that it's less about, you know, wins and losses and more about, you know, getting the most out of what you have. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I truly, honestly felt my entire career, if I played to my highest level, then everything else would take care of itself. And we're kind of in the same boat here. You know, if we play the best of our ability as a team, then the rest of the, you know, the results will take care of itself. So, you know, I think that's just a long-term picture. You know what I'm saying? So,
okay,
that's kind of how I deal with
Ryan,
it.
Yeah, no, that's dope, man. That's dope. One more question, and I know you got to go, man. I kept you on longer than we said, but I'm sorry about that, man. This conversation is too good, bro.
My dog, bro. You know I'm with you.
One more question. Talk about your experience in the NBA bubble last year, coaching.
Wow, one-off, bro. One-off experience, man. Unbelievable, man. It was it's crazy that it even happened. To be honest, I didn't believe that it was even really gonna happen. I mean, you had this COVID stuff. You had all the social justice issues that were going on in the world at the time. And it was a real collaboration between the league, the organization, the players, and the coaches. You know what I'm saying? It would not have happened if, you know, everybody wasn't like, hey, let's make this happen. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, it was, to be honest with you, it was a tough decision for me to even go to the bubble just because of all the social justice stuff, right? Like, it was right after brother Floyd had been killed, right? And so, you know, it was a lot bigger things on my mind, right? So first of all, we were like in a holding pattern because of COVID, right? So you're just at home and yeah, we're on calls and we're collaborating every day, but we're collaborating from home, you know what I'm saying? And at that time, you know what I'm saying, you listen to the news, you know, for me, it was do research, study my heritage, you know, dig deeper into my heritage. Like, how did we even get rights? How did we even get voting rights? You know what I'm saying? This, that, and the other. And so, you know, at the time, it was tough for me to even decide, am I going to go or am I going to stay? You know what I'm saying?
There was a moment, Ryan, where you were considering not going to the bubble.
Absolutely. So that, you know, everybody had a choice to go, you know, and one thing I don't want to knock people for going or not going. Like, it was an individual decision. You need to do what's best for you. But for sure, man, I mean, I got people at home, you know, I got people in the Bay, I got people in the town texting me, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's about to get rowdy. And they sending you the location of where we about to go get rowdy at. You know what I'm saying? And so it was tough for me to be like, you know, I'm sitting in here about to go play some basketball. And, you know, these dudes are in the street fighting for our rights as a human being, bro. In 2020, this is the year 2020. This is things that my grandfather taught me about. You see, I'm starting to get passionate now, starting to sweat.
No, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay.
But things that my grandfather taught me about, you know, when he was a kid, you know, and his grandfather was a slave, you know what I'm saying? And how it transitioned from, you know, us being slaves to us having rights, but not really having rights, to where we are now, where and so, you know, at the time it was like, damn, like, I don't know if I can go play this game. I don't know if I might get to the bubble and be like, man, skip this. I'm about to go back in here. I'm about to go out here and get in the street and march with these people for our rights.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it was a tough decision. It was a couple tough days leading up to when we had to make a decision. Are we going to the bubble or not going to the bubble? And at the end of the day, what it was for me was that, you know, the bubble was going to last a month, 2 months. I don't know how. I think we're there 90 days, just under 90 days. So say 3 months, right? The bubble's going to be 3 months. I think this battle that we're fighting now, in terms of prejudice, you know, in terms of justice, in terms of empathy for others and different races, cultures, sexes, you know, all, gender, whatever it is. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
I think all those things are things that we are going to be battling our whole life. Hopefully I'm wrong here, but something that we're going to be battling our whole life. It was going to be more than just those 3 months.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And those 3 months were key. Don't get me wrong on that. But it's going to be a lifetime battle to try to straighten out some of these things. Everything that we've just brushed under the carpet in this country had kind of came out as we were going into the bubble. And that's what made it hard for me, you know. But I think, again, I think it's looking at the long term. I think that it's going to be a much larger battle than those 3 months. So I ended up going to the bubble. So to answer your question, the bubble was crazy, man. The bubble was like AAU tournament. It was almost like what we did with the Pump Brothers team, right? Like, but you're there 24/7, and you're like a kid again. You can't go to the corner store and get a bag of Fritos and a grape soda. You know what I'm saying? You can't go to your favorite restaurant and get a plate, go get some wings or something like that.
So what did you do? What did you do in your free time in the bubble?
Man, I studied, bro.
I mean, study film. Yeah.
Well, I studied, dude. I did a lot of studying, not just basketball, like basketball for sure, right? So I did a lot of organizing of my basketball stuff. I should start there. A lot of organizing of all the clips that I got, the plays that I liked, the ATOs, you know, after timeouts, the end of game plays. You know, I kind of organized everything that I had put together over the last 3-4 years, and I kind of organized them so they're like one touch away. And then I studied, bro. I studied, man. I read up on Frederick Douglass. I read, I went back and watched some of Martin Luther King's speeches, read some of his commentary. I looked, I just dug into our culture a little bit, to see how we even got here. You know what I'm saying? Because it is a blessing. It is a blessing to be even considered a free man nowadays.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And so.
Yeah.
One location, you were allowed to go straight there, straight back. Pool area. I mean, we're at the Disney Resort, bro. So it's not like, we were living good. It was great. It was great, to be honest. It's probably the safest I felt. You know what I'm saying? Just because you knew everybody was getting tested twice a day, and you knew nobody was leaving. There was nothing coming from in and out. Just the weakest part was just not being with your family, man. Not being with your family and your friends. If the family was there the whole time, then we can run the bubble back. You know what I'm saying? But, without the family and friends and just the freedom, bro. Just the freedom, like I said, to go just get out in the whip, man. You know me, man. Get out in the whip and drive down to San Diego to see Jelani McCoy, drive up to LA to see Chris Johnson, and then, you know what I'm saying? Like, just that freedom right there, not having that, man, made you really, really appreciate it. And then under the circumstances, social justice wise, you know what I'm saying, really made you appreciate it. And for me, it made me want to get more involved in some of these things that are going on here, so that our kids, can live in this better world. A lot of people before us sacrificed their life, bro, sacrificed everything, so we can have what we have today. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like my personal opinion is we're not as far as we need to be. You know what I'm saying? And it's kind of slipped. And because a lot of this stuff went covert and you're not able really to see who thinks what or what this person's about, what that person's about, it's the toughest part. And that's one thing we talked earlier, just my mom being white and my pops being black. That's one thing my mom always talked about was just the covert racism. You know what I'm saying? She was able to see it by having two black sons. Remember one time as a kid, it was a soccer game, and all of a sudden I see my mom over there talking crazy to some kids and this dude, and so I'm playing soccer. So I run over, come to find out these kids are calling me nigga this and nigga that, whoop de whoop, blah blah blah, not knowing that they standing right next to my mom, and the pops over there chuckling and laughing and doing all that funny stuff. You know what I'm saying? And so my mom over there checking them, and when moms get to talking like this, you know what I'm saying? It's popping. So
and you running over there. I'm running over there.
Man, you already know. So I
fast.
There, I run over there and I'm like 10 years old, 9, 10 years old. Like I'm swinging on the dude. Like, you ain't gonna be talking crazy to my mom.
Oh, no question.
But long story short, it's just the stuff went covert. She always talked to me about that. When there was slavery, it was black and white. You know what I'm saying? You were a slave, you were sold, you're gonna live here, this is your owner, et cetera, et cetera. As time went on and, we quote unquote gained freedom, you know what I'm saying? That shit got swept under the rug. You know what I'm saying? It went from being, you either have rights or don't have rights to, you have rights on paper, but shoot, you come down to this neighborhood, we're gonna knock you off. You know what I'm saying? What kind of freedom is that? And so, yeah, man, that's kind of where I'm at nowadays, brother.
All right.
You know what I'm saying? Just trying to be the best I could be, best father I could be, best friend I could be, best coach, mentor, whatever. Just kind of sharing my experience in life, in this game, to help my players. You know what I'm saying? Be the best that they can be.
Yes, sir.
Individually, and then as a unit. So.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what, man, you since the first time I actually had a chance to spend time around, you've always been one of the realest human beings that I've ever come across. And I'm thankful that Jelani McCoy introduced us, man, and got us together. Obviously, I knew about you
Yeah.
But to kick it with you that summer, man, and you know, every day we're in Vegas hanging out with Clay, and you know, we at the tournament. You know, we're doing all the thing, man. You let me into your world, into your network, bro, and I appreciate you for that, man. I'm really proud of all of your success in Brooklyn, my brother. Keep it going out there, man. I wish you guys the best of luck for the rest of the season, man. And I know you got stuff to do, but man, thank you so much for coming on the show, Ryan.
Man,
all right.
It was a pleasure, man. It was an honor, and you know what we say in the Bay, you know, game recognized game, bro. So I think that's why we've been cool from day one, because you know it is what it is. You are who you are. You're okay in your skin. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I'm thankful for this opportunity. I mean, I'm humbled by just being on here with the group that you had on here. Man, it's unbelievable.
We gotta have you on, bro. You in here, bro.
Tremendous, man. These joints have been tremendous, man. So keep it up. I'm with it anytime, man.
Thank you.
You know what I'm saying?
Thank you.
Yeah, man. Keep it up. Let me know how I can help. And when I'm back in Cali, man, you know we'll link up. We'll put together. We'll catch up.
All right, man. Well, thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. Ryan Forehan-Kelly. Appreciate you, my brother. Love you, man.
Yeah, much love, bro. Appreciate you.
All right.